Alright. We must talk about it and not sit in silence. The Minnesota Timberwolves are first in the Western Conference right now at 15-4, as they show the entire NBA they are not to be played with. The other night they displayed how effective Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Nasri could be, and it was honestly ridiculous. Now sure, it was against the Charlotte Hornets, who need to be moved to the G League just as well as the Detroit Pistons, but when you look at their numbers during this game, you can see these guys are a force on the court that is undeniable. And the best part about that is that you didn't even hear me say Anthony Edwards, who is the bona fide star of this team, or Jaden Mcdaniels, who is their star defender. When you have a group of guys who buy into the program, play for one another, and put it all on the line every single night, this is when you end up in the position that they are currently in. Right now they have the #1 defensive rating in the NBA at 106.7, they're ranked 4th in blocks at 6.3 a game, and are also 4th in net rating at 6.5. You can see from the numbers just how good they are, especially on the defensive end, and for my numbers guys, I know you love that. But for all my people that test things more with their eyes, let me show you something. Now we all know the two guys that anchored this defense is Jaden Mcdaniels and Rudy Gobert, but how exactly are they valuable? Well, McDaniels is going to take the role of guarding your best player, or in this case the sniper like Michael Porter Jr., but furthermore, with his reach and pestering defense, he's able to get a hand in to bother Jokic on the drive, and then when Jokic decides to go up, McDaniels can bring that ball back to earth with a block. You'll see the length McDaniels has bothered tons of defenders and actions, so even when you have all-star guards like Devin Booker make this routine swing back pass off the ghost screen, Jaden's able to react quickly and extend his arm out, tip this pass resulting in a steal, and then he can run the floor to score at the other end. Having a defender who can be in the right position and have the ability to blow up plays is extremely valuable, because that's when you get these possessions where he can eliminate the thought of even throwing it down to Wemby on the drive, but then anticipate this pass to Keldon Johnson as well, so he can then run right through the passing lane to go lay it in on the fast break. I know, right? It's amazing to witness this, especially if this player is on your team. And even if he has to match up with smaller, shiftier guards, he can smother them with his size and make it utterly difficult for them to get a clean look. When you take this defensive pressure and pair it with Rudy Gobert on the backside, well, it just elevates this team to a whole nother level. If you're to ball watch and get beat on a backdoor cut, well, having Gobert down low is a luxury, as not only can he make players not even think about taking the shot, but then he can establish his paint presence, so when Jalen Williams receives this pass on the cut, he can contest him at the rim and show him exactly why he shouldn't even try it. I mean, look bruh, most players coming off this screen would try and attack the rim, but just by having a big body and Gobert in the paint, it makes this drive not even a thought, and then when Eubanks catches, he feeds the up fake, but Rudy Gobert says, I'm not falling for that. So then once the shot does go up, he can send it right back to where it came from. Do you see how just these two guys alone can affect the whole game and make offensive possessions a nightmare for the defense? You truly need guys on your team who can do more of the dirty work and sit down and play defensively. And hey, Jaden Mcdaniels ain't no slouch, as he'll match the same energy as a vet in Klay Thompson and show him he's with all the smoke. Hopefully you all see the potential on the defensive side, as we all know defense wins championships, and to throw it in right now, even Nickeil Alexander-Walker has stepped up big time, just being one of the best point of attack defenders currently, helping this team greatly while McDaniels has been out, and Troy Brown is also entering that conversation as well. But to go along with the defense that they have, you must have the offensive firepower to really take you to the promised land. We all already know the glaring star who is leading them on this side of the ball is the one and only Anthony Edwards. Averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds and 5 assists on splits of 46% shooting from the field and 37% from deep, Edwards has been lighting it up all season prior to his hip injury, and with his return maybe coming in the next game, he's destined to continue elevating the play of this team. Like for a second here, forget all the stats, media talk, and all of that. Let's all go down to the man cave and have a conversation. When you watch him on the court, what type of energy do you get from him? If you ask me, I get this dog-like feel that he won't back down from anything or anyone, and that whenever he steps on the floor, he feels like he's the best player out there. Sure, he may have his lapses defensively and can get disengaged on the offensive side sometimes, but from an overall standpoint, Edwards is the guy you want to give the keys to and let him lead you into the war. When you take a look around the league, there's not a lot of guys playing at his level at his age, yet alone being the leader of their team. His slashing just shreds defenses on a nightly basis, as his athleticism is something the defense can't contain. Then when you look at his shot creation on the court, it's sturdy and smooth, and when you leave him open beyond the arc, best believe he's going to set up shop and fire the bullet out the 50 cal. There's just so many aspects of the game Edwards excels in, and this jumpstarts this offense completely. Now there is someone a lot of people thought would hinder this team when getting traded here, and that is Rudy Gobert. But after watching how well he meshes with this team, you can see all these opinions were totally wrong. With averages of 13 points, 11 rebounds and 2 blocks a game, Gobert does all this on 60% shooting from the field, so despite all that pressure and having to find his footing with the new group of guys, he's found his groove, and as we showcased earlier with his defense, he's more than a valuable piece to this team. They call it the Twin Towers as him and Karl Anthony Towns share the court together, and honestly, I believe this helps Towns out a lot. Personally, when I would watch Cat on the defensive end, it just didn't seem like he was that intimidating, nor was he able to really hold down that paint. But now with Gobert, he doesn't need to worry about that as much, and instead he can worry more about his scoring side of things, and hey, as he stated before, he is the best 3-point shooting big of all time. Now he used to be the leader of this team, but as of now, I would say he's the second option. Does that mean he's not playing good or a good player? Certainly not, because Cat is putting up 22 points and 9 rebounds a night, while converting the buckets at a 50-40-90 clip. Yeah, you heard that right. Karl Anthony Towns is a 50-40-90 player, and he's doing so on a solid amount of volume. This hot shooting helps his team out greatly as it spaces the floor tremendously, opening up many different options. Now that opposing bigs must step out, it'll grant lanes for guys to attack the rack. If the defense decides to shift over for the help, well, Cat can make them pay for it. And last but not least, if bigs are too slow to get out on them, or if they sag off, you might as well put 3 points on the board. It's truly crazy that a big is putting up numbers like this, but what's even crazier than that is that Naz Reid, who is the backup center, is putting up a 50-40-90 stat line as well on 12 points and 4 rebounds a game. So for defenses, once they get a break with Cat going off the floor, well, it doesn't just stop there because Reid comes in and he can add the same value. Now, am I comparing him to Cat and saying they're just alike and he scores as much? Nah, he doesn't do all that. But during his 21 minutes a game opposed to Towns' 33 minutes a game, this is rather impressive. When you look at most teams, they drop off significantly when backup players come in, but with the Wolves, it's like they have that next man up mentality and they pick up right where they left off. I think a lot of this comes from the veteran presence in Mike Conley, who can talk the guys up in the locker room, show them the structure in practice, and then even in games, keep the composure of the team on lock. Very, and I mean very underrated Mike Conley is. When you're setting the pace for a team and setting up the offense, you don't need to score a buttload of points or be the star of the show, as your job is to keep things under control and set your guys up for good looks on the floor. During his 29 minutes a game, Mike dishes out 6 assists on 1 turnover, which is huge for this team, as it limits the amount of chances teams can go score at the other end by taking care of the ball, but also it helps his guys shoot higher percentages as they don't have to work hard for every shot. I know some may call him old, washed, and all these things of that nature. But if you know ball, you understand that a guy like this on your team is a major bonus. Now look, if you haven't been over here at Hoop Mastery before, we do what I like to call community analysis. And by that I mean, I want to talk to you all in the comments about what players on this team stand out to you, who is going to break out, and who adds a lot of value. It's only right that we all get to put our input about this team, rather than me just giving my input and calling it a day. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe before heading over to watch this Nikola Jokic game evaluation. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.